What's up, guys? This is Andrew, aka Mr. Caballo, with another episode of Gents Gabfest on Gents Gaming 2000. I'm going to be doing another mini-sode today, talking about some stuff that just came from Comic-Con. I did an episode the other day about the announcement that Clone Wars is coming back, and today I'm going to be talking about a new trailer that came from the DC panel at Comic-Con for the movie Shazam. And for those of you that don't know much about Shazam, it's a DC comic. It's a character that used to be called Captain Marvel, I think, and it's this kid named Billy Batson who comes in contact with this wizard, and somehow he says Shazam and he becomes like this adult superhero, basically Superman. But he's actually a kid. He just looks like an adult. The trailer for this movie just dropped. We've known about the movie for a little while. You know, I actually think it looks pretty good. I haven't really had a reason to be that excited about it until now, but now I can say that I'm definitely looking forward to this movie. A couple takeaways, I would say. For one, I saw an article about this, and for the most part, it seems like it's pretty much exactly the New 52 origin for him, if you keep up with the comics. I haven't read Shazam comics, but I've watched a little bit on his origin, and from what I know and what this article said, his origin story in this movie is pretty much exactly what it is in the New 52 comics. Like all the stuff with the foster home and how the wizard comes and how he gets his powers and all that, and you know, it was just a minute and a half or whatever, so we don't know a whole lot about it, but right now that's kind of what it's looking like. The casting looks great in this movie. I think Zachary Levi, all the other actors in this movie, I think are going to do a great job. I think from what I can tell, they were cast really well. I also like the idea that this is going to be a really fun movie. I think DC has had a little bit of a problem with that, trying to find themselves. They started out pretty dark, and I mean, I like Man of Steel, and I actually like Batman vs. Superman, but I see what people are saying when they're like, they're way too dark. I think maybe they take themselves a little too seriously, and even Justice League kind of was a little bit of a flop with that. And that wasn't its only problem, but that was a problem with Justice League. So this movie looks like it's really, you know, taking advantage of that lighter element of comic books, and I like to see that. I think that's something that Shazam needs. It's not taking the concept too seriously, because it's kind of a dumb concept, you know. So I like to see that. It's kind of like what Marvel did with Ant-Man, where they kind of realized how weird it was and took advantage of that, and kind of played up, just played up kind of the stupidity of Ant-Man. I mean, you know, and I think that's kind of what they're doing with Shazam, and that's something I like to see. I mean, even his costume is super bright. You know, it's like, you know, with Man of Steel and all this stuff, you know, their costumes have been a lot duller, the colors in them, I mean. But, I mean, Shazam, he has this bright, you know, electricity, you know, thing like lightning bolt on the front of him, and the rest of him is like this bright red. And kind of like my shirt that I'm wearing right now. I don't know. I think that's kind of shows just the strides that they're taking. Not that every superhero needs to be super comedic, but I mean, you know, I think there's a lot of them that should be more fun. They don't need to be super dark and serious. And I think that's what they're doing with this, which is I think the biggest takeaway that I have from this. We get to see a little bit of Mark Strong's villain. It's like Mr. Savant or I don't remember what his character's name is, but he's the villain in this movie, and we got to see a little bit of him. We got to see not that many of the main characters. I mean, we get to see Billy Batson, Shazam, his not brother, but kind of the kid he lives with at the foster home, and so we got to see some of those people. Not a whole, and we got to see the wizard a little bit, played by what's his name, like Jimon Hansu or something like that, who interestingly enough is also actually in Aquaman, but he's so made up, and I think there's some motion capture that you can't even really tell. So I think it's fine that they have the same actor playing two different characters in the DCEU. From what I can tell, this is going to be mostly a standalone movie, which I'm really happy to see. I think DC has had a problem with every movie. They feel like they need to have cameos and tie-ins to the next movie, and I like to see that maybe they're taking a step back and just doing their solo movie. I think that's part of what I liked about Wonder Woman, was that it was just about Wonder Woman. It was just about her story and how she got to where she is. And I hope we see that with Shazam, and hopefully he'll pop up in future DC movies, like maybe like a second Justice League or something. But for now, I'm hoping this story mostly focuses on just him. Another thing that's kind of an interesting twist is that he actually wants to be a superhero. Like, I think that's kind of cool. That's not something that we see all the time. Superman, he just kind of feels like it's his duty, but he doesn't necessarily want to. Batman, same thing. He kind of just wants to do it so that, to keep people safe, after what happens to his parents and stuff. And so we don't see a lot of superheroes who want to be superheroes. But I think that's kind of an interesting idea, that it's this kid who just, and his friend too, the kid at his foster home, they like superheroes, and they're, the other kid especially, and they're super psyched about this, and they, he just thinks it's so cool. He's like, oh, you're a bad guy, right? And, he's so excited to be, have a villain to fight, and, fight robbers, and the more he discovers his powers, like he's bulletproof, he's so excited, and I think I don't know, I think that's kind of cool. I like to see that. We still have a long way to go before this movie releases. It's April 2019, so I imagine we'll see a little bit more footage till then. But honestly, I'd be okay if we didn't see that much more footage. That's kind of how I feel about a lot of these movies. I feel like we almost wreck them when we put too much footage out there. I'm hoping maybe we won't get a whole lot more footage, because I'm really excited about this movie, and I don't want to get anything wrecked or anything. I think DC is getting back on track. I think I think hopefully DC has kind of heard the fans, and they're like, all right, we got to change some stuff, because they know that people are not liking the current movies, except for Wonder Woman. Now, I'm not as much of a hater as some people are. I mean, people were trashing Batman vs. Superman and Suicide Squad. I personally actually enjoyed those movies. I know they weren't great. The more I think about them, the more I'm like, they weren't that great. And Justice League was a little disappointing, but they're entertaining, But I'm hoping they get a little bit more back on track, and I'm hoping maybe they realize they don't need to be like Marvel to be successful. I think that's the problem. They feel like they need to catch up with Marvel, when DC, if they just are DC, they'll be incredibly successful. I mean, it's not based on Marvel's success, I don't think. And so I'm hoping maybe Shazam is gonna kind of get them back on track, and people are gonna have more faith in DC because they see the fun side. Now, I mean, I think certain properties like Batman, I think that needs to be a little bit darker. But I mean, if they were to do something like Shazam, make it really dark, that would just be dumb. So I'm glad that they realize that, and they're just having fun. The music kind of adds some fun energy to it. It's not the super dark, like orchestra music or something like that. I mean, we get to see some rap music. I think the beginning of the trailer has a kind of a dark feel that it almost doesn't really match with it. That was one complaint that I had with it. I feel like that was a little weird, but I mean, well, that was just a trailer, though. I guess that's not the movie. I was pleasantly surprised with this footage, and I'm gonna do everything I can to go see it when it comes out in April. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Please like this video. Please leave a comment down below what you thought of the Shazam trailer. What you thought of Comic-Con in general, DC's panel. Did you like it? Do you think it could have been better? Or have you completely written off DC? I hope not. Subscribe to our channel. We got a lot of gaming videos. That's still our focus. We're never gonna be more of one thing than that. I mean, we're Gents Gaming after all. So keep watching for some more Gabfest videos. I got a whole lot of reviews that I gotta edit and get up on the channel. And I'm gonna do a few more of these probably for the next day or two about some trailers that I liked at Comic-Con, and then trailers even after Comic-Con. I'm sure we're gonna see more. So leave a comment what you'd like to see on our channel next. Follow us on social media at Gents Gaming 2000 on Instagram, Snapchat, and Twitter, and Gents Gaming 2K on Twitch. And yeah, that's it. So thanks for tuning in. See you later.